believe we live. There we go. Good morning, everybody. We are live. This is Travis from Carter Cow Capital, helping you fight for your financial freedom throughout the Forex market and just market in general. I hope everybody's doing very well on this Tuesday morning. As we go through and be able to take a look at some overall trading opportunities. Hold on. Let me I think they end up saying try to do this. Let's see. Copy. Okay, let's try this. Okay. Hope everybody's doing very well this morning as we go through and take a look at different trading opportunities. What I'm going to end up doing is that I'm just going to end up checking to see if everything is working on my end. Over the course of the last couple of days, for some reason, we have not been able to take a look at everybody's messages while we've been going through and being able to trade early in the morning. But talk to some of the good old people over at TradingView, and hopefully they end up giving me an answer that kind of works. So this is what I'm going to end up doing to be able to help compensate for that as well. Obviously, you know that we end up having a community Discord with this overall group. Why is it asking me to sign in? Okay. I should have did this before. That's janky. Let's see. Sorry about it. Just give me one quick second. I just want to make sure that I can be able to see. Saying that I'm disconnected. Connect. Okay. Connect. It's the same thing. Okay. Perfect. Okay. All right. We'll just go with that. Hope everybody's doing very well. As we go through and take a look at messages and everything else like that, inside of the chat box, what you end up seeing is the actual Discord link to where you can be able to sign up and be able to ask me messages right then and there, so I can be able to see them. It makes it a little bit easier to be able to do that. If you would go ahead and do that, it'll make a heck of a lot easier for me to be able to see your messages live as they end up going through. Always good to be able to talk to everybody. Once you end up getting into that link, if you would just send the messages through the technical stuff portion of the portion of the Discord, I can be able to answer your questions and see everything very quickly. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. Now, understand that trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money. It also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you're going to end up making money today. So with that being said, I am on the screen, so I know I can be able to see myself. Hope everybody's doing very well. If this is your first time watching us, this is a right around 25-minute to sometimes 40-minute session to where we end up taking a look at what's happening throughout the overall trading day, seeing if there's any pairs that we can be able to get into, recapping what ended up happening the night before, and being able to see if there's any type of trading opportunities. Now, if there is some trading opportunities, then we'll trade them live. If there's not any trading opportunities, then we have to be able to wait and kind of see how everything kind of plays out. Then we'll end up posting out all of that information within our overall community Discord that you can be able to go from there. User 8885. Hopefully everything's going well. Thanks for being able to pop in. If you have any questions or you have a pair that you'd like to be able to take a look at, go ahead and place it inside of the chat box. Let's take a look at the economic calendar and see what's going on today. Today is a trader state. There's really nothing to be able to pay attention to. So, that's pretty much very quick that we can be able to go from and kind of go from there. Sergio, can you check the Axis Bank chart day candle? Okay, I'll take a look at that as well. That would be my first time actually taking a look at that one, but we will go through that. Wow, what happened right there? So we will get to US yen. Yeah, we will get the US yen. I ended up taking a trade on US yen, and the market ended up falling in my favor, and then after that, pop right back up. Evidently, some news ended up coming out. Actually, in the negative on this one as we speak on this movement, but golly, I should have had a trail stop in. Not down by much, but that's funny. I was waiting for that move. Cool. We'll come back to that one. I see what's happening with that one. Then after that, I make a decision. All right. Evidently, must be something on Bloomberg, and you got to be able to take a look at it. United States dollar index starting off like always. We'll take a look at that real quick, and then after that, we'll kind of maneuver our way through everything else. So, from a weekly perspective, market has hit a daily D extension. Now we're going through the second phase of this overall movement. The market, when it ended up retracing, I'm going to clear the screen real quick. The market, when it ended up retracing, it only retraced to the 382 when it went down to that position. Currently, right now, it's up at the 127, um, which is basically a position where you're going to end up seeing people start to be able to get in based off an 80-20 rule, and being able to see that overall movement. So currently, right now, um, even though the market is bullish, basically what we're seeing is diminishing returns. And because we're seeing diminishing returns, I do expect that the market is going to end up having a little bit of a retracement to the downside. I was kind of expecting to see that earlier this morning and see that the market truly moved to the downside instead of this rocketing down and then pushing right back up. But obviously, what we're seeing is this bearish dark cloud cover candlestick that is um, basically given way to be able to show that this market may end up falling down. We end up having this evening star candlestick formation that ended up happening. The high has not been broken off of that yet. There has been a counter trend line break to the downside off of this one. So once again, United States based pairs, I'm not interested in being able to buy on these pairs. I'm actually interested in being able to sell because in the long term, we're talking about from a 3 to 4 month standpoint, I do expect that the market is going to continue to move to the downside or at least start to retrace a little bit. So that's what I'm paying attention to overall when it comes down to this movement. Is there a trade to be able to get into right now? Currently, right now, no. Market fell down, and currently, right now, we're actually starting to see a little bit of support actually being built out on this one. And if that is the natural support, then currently, right now, this is our consolidation that we have to be able to pay attention to. Excuse me. This is our consolidation that we have to be able to pay attention to overall. And if it is in support, that makes that U.S. yen trade kind of null and void. If that is going to end up being the case, based off of how the market ended up making a move to that downside. So typing a while, yes, that makes sense. U.S. based pairs, I'm not interested in being able to make a buy trade off of that. Kind of interested in being able to stay away, at least for right now. Let's see what that. Okay, big rally at the start of the week. Okay, we already talked about buy moves, so let's see. Didn't see anything from before that. Honda and Kia to book another $2 billion hit. Engine problems. Okay. All right. So don't see anything from there. Let's talk about oil real quick. Then after that, we'll go gold. And then after that, we'll take a look at X's. What's going on, Fatty? Hope everything's going well. Hey, Fatty, did you take that trade yesterday on US 30 and on NAS 100? Both of them end up giving about 600-point moves. Let's see. US 30 ended up giving a 400-point move. No, US 30 ended up giving a 500-point move. NAS 100 ended up giving a 400-point move. I want to know if you end up taking any one of those trades. You should have seen that inside of the Discord group. Um, Oil, from a weekly perspective, I'm still waiting for this market to be able to fall down. I think it's going to end up falling down to right around that $83 area. Once it falls down to that $83 area, I am interested in being able to get in for it's being able to buy. Currently, right now, the market is at 85. That was basically the midpoint that we end up looking at of these two different consolidation areas before actually being able to pop back up. Currently, right now, the market is still considered to be bearish in my mind. Until the market actually ends up breaking the counter trend line break to the upside, I'm not interested in being able to take a move off of that one. So Canadian dollar pairs, oil, not interested in being able to do anything yet. But once it does break, we got to be ready because remember, like I ended up saying before, we're getting to the cold months, supply and demand kind of comes back, and you'll start to see that oil in general typically is a very good pair to be able to get into, or a very good item to be able to get into in the winter months. So currently, right now, we're not there yet, but I am interested in being able to take a look at that overall. Gold, if that movement ended up happening the way that it did, that means that we should see that gold start, or should look at gold starting to fall. Yesterday, I ended up talking about the trade that we were looking at being able to get into, or a trade that I said consider at 1666 for us being able to sell, taking it all the way down to that 1650 and 15 area, in which we end up talking about one time before that we end up making money off of in early September or late September. I did not make a trade off of this pair because I seen that the market was giving somewhat of a rising wedge. From there, the market ended up falling down. And then since then, the market has just been stagnant. Because of that, um, I don't like to trade anymore, even though I don't know what I don't at this point I don't know what the trade is going to end up doing. We looked at the United States dollar index, it ends up popping up to the upside. We looked at what happened with US yen. US yen had a big drop to the downside, um, but it's not ready yet. So I'm not going to trade on gold. There's really nothing to be able to do when it comes down to that movement. Um, so Surah ended up saying something about check Axis Bank. Let's take a look at that. We'll take a look at that, and that'll be that first pair of today. This is the first time taking a look at Axis Bank. We're talking about looking at it from a daily candlestick, and if it's anything like what I end up seeing off of US yen, it probably is a big movement. They end up happening to the downside. So we'll see what ended up happening when it came down to that. Axis Bank. Let's see if there's any questions inside of the Discord. Okay, don't have any questions inside of the Discord yet. I'll refresh this page, see if there's any questions from here. Nah, it's just okay. Good to go. Questions on YouTube? No, not yet. All right, perfect. So, answer this question. When we're taking a look at Axis Bank, what is the I'm guessing it's BSE. Nope, not BSE. Um, uh, what broker do you use? Or what broker are you using? Matter of fact, let's get off of this because that keeps on happening. I'm gonna be bothered by that. Let's see, connect, copy, go. Okay, all right. I can see the messages now. Barely. What broker do you use for Axis Bank? I'm guessing it's going to be this one. All right, so I'm going to do a quick rundown on this one. Then after that, we'll kind of move forward. Now, weekly perspective. Here's our high volume node that we're actually in currently right there. Typically, when you end up having a high volume node, you end up having consolidation. So the consolidation is from that support right there at 634 all the way up to 800. Currently, right now, the market is actually peeking its head up. Well, I'm going to say right at resistance. I ain't going to say peeping its head up, but it's getting close to being able to break that 824 area. Now, long term, this market obviously has been bullish overall. So looking at this overall movement, we're at the top of the resistance. I don't know if people are going to look at that as a tradable type of pair overall before it's being able to sell, but it's something to be able to pay attention to. Now, okay. With that being said, the daily is in the sell zone. The weekly has been showing that the market is bullish, but we have seen that from a historical standpoint, there goes the resistance, there goes the resistance. Obviously, we're getting close back up to that resistance as well. So we might end up seeing that this market might be ready to fall. I don't know what position or I don't know what direction that you're actually trying to take a look at when it comes down to this at this particular point. But I do know based off the weekly is getting closer to the sell zone, but it's showing bullish tendencies. The daily is in the sell zone, and we're at the top of resistance. For me, I would sit and I would kind of wait to see how the market is going to end up reacting off of this before being able to make a move in any direction, if I'm being honest, because it's not enough information to be able to say that we have double confirmation to be able to trade in any direction. Now, we're taking a look at this based off of the 15 minute. 15 minutes saying that this market is a little bit, it's kind of scheduled to be able to drop. If it's going to drop anywhere, at least at the beginning of this overall movement, it will probably end up getting back to 808 808.50. Probably would get back to 808.50 before being able to do anything from there. That's my thought process on that. Really don't have much more to be able to say about that, at least right now. Um, because it is at the top of resistance and because the daily's in the sell zone, I think that there's a better chance of the market falling. But the weekly is still kind of showing that there's a little bit more bullish tendencies off of that one as well. So, me personally, I would stay away. I don't know what position that you're actually in when it comes down to that position, but hopefully that ends up helping out. Okay, break or not? No, it's not a break. It seems like it got to the top of resistance. I think it's going to end up falling. I think that it may end up falling. Samo, what's going on? Can you take a look at pound United States dollar? Okay, we'll take a look at that one as well. Matter of fact, I got this chart already laid out, so let's take a look at it from here. We took a trade on US yen last night. I talked about US yen as well, kind of seeing what's going on with that movement. All right, so quickly, US yen from a weekly perspective, market is on its 1, 2, 3, 4, on its fourth wave to the downside. Um, there was a long-term D extension that ended up has not got hit yet at 1.0075, basically parity. Market ended up breaking through long-term consolidation, broke to the downside, started the wave to the downside, stopped at what was that number? Let me clear the screen real quick. Got a lot of stuff going on. Um, Closed at 1.1155. Since then, the last 3 weeks, the market has started to retrace. Because the market is starting to retrace, I would say that there's a better chance that the market could continue retracing at this particular point. Once again, going back to what I ended up saying with the United States dollar index, the United States dollar index has got to a point to where I think there's a little bit more diminishing returns than keep on trying to buy at this particular point. So, from a daily perspective, what I would be looking for is that I was looking for the counter trend line break, in which that ended up happening earlier last week. That ended up happening on October 4th. From there, the market is retesting this overall candlestick. It's not in the sell zone yet, but there's a good chance that this market could possibly end up falling again. Once again, that kind of tends to what's happening with the bears, or what's happening with the United States dollar. It's the pound just that weak. It's the pound in the Eurozone just that weak right now. Let's see. This is an upside move. This is an upside move. It has to hold this. It will have to hold this overall trend break. If it does go up, there's the extension, or short-term the extension of 116, which is about 400 points from here. Okay, so two things on this one. I don't know what direction that you're looking at being able to go into, Sam. Let me know. Let's answer that question first. Are you looking at buying, or are you looking at selling? Are you looking at buying, or are you looking at selling? The weekly is showing short-term bullish U-turn type of movement. The daily is showing short-term bullish type of movement, but there's a good chance that the market could particularly fall. Well, no, that may end up just being a retest of this overall move. So I think the better answer would end up being, is this market going to hold on this counter trend line? If this market holds on the counter trend line, then that 116 number would make sense to see if it can be able to go. If it holds right there, I would pay attention to being able to see a counter trend line break. If that does happen, then after that, you might have a chance to be able to look at being able to buy this and being able to buy it for a little bit as this market starts to push back up and keeps on moving back up to the upside. Me personally, okay, you're looking at short. Okay. Well, going back to what I ended up saying before, if the market does break to the downside, then you'll be looking at fields going this way. The A was broken. I wouldn't look at shorting. I would kind of hold off for right now. The reason why I would not short is because of a couple things. Right now, the market's in the buy zone. At least right now, market's in the buy zone on a 2 hour. markets in a no trade zone in the daily, market on the weekly showing that they're showing that there's upward retracements. All three of those things are telling you to kind of wait for being able to sell if the market's ready to go. Plus, like I said, the United States dollar is showing more diminishing returns and it's showing a better trade to be able to keep on selling. Now, United States dollar has been strong all year, so let's not get that twisted. But currently, right now, at this particular point, would I look at being able to make a move off of this particular pair right now? No, doesn't make any sense right now. Hopefully, that makes sense for you. There we go. Let's talk about US yen. I ended up taking a trade off of US yen during the night session. Um, I'm going to talk to you about my thought process, and then after that, we'll kind of go from there. Um, And if I, like I said, if I end up getting kicked out of this position, then I'm not mad because it is what it is. And it kind of goes back to what I just said, Sam, when it came to this position. From a weekly perspective, United States dollar index is at an all-time high. Because it is at an all-time high, the weekly, we do not have a weekly fractal to be able to work off with. So once again, diminishing returns. And my overall rule is I don't buy future high prices, right? There's no sense of being able to do that from a probability perspective. From a daily perspective, we see that the market only retraced down to the 236, which means that we're looking at an 80-20 rule, possibly being able to push to the downside. Currently, right now, we're at the 127. As the market basically ended up pushing up earlier this morning, we've seen that the market was bearish. Currently, right now, I see that the market is truly bullish, which means that I am going to end up exiting. Probably might end up exiting my position. This was what I seen, and yes, I am going to exit my position. I'm going to take that loss. Okay, what's going on? That's weird. So what ended up happening was this: when I ended up seeing this, we ended up having a evening star candlestick to be able to focus in on. We caught it like right in the middle when the market actually ended up breaking to the downside at 148, 148.84. Because that ended up happening, I ended up taking a sale. I was looking at the market basically retesting this overall position, and then from there I was like, okay, well then we have a chance to be able to get out or be able to get in off of the sale and see the market go from a inner trend line perspective to the outer trend line, or aggressive inner trend line to basically the outer trend line right here, which will end up being the first move. Because this market turned around and U-turned and broke the overall fractal high, there's no reason to be able to stay in this trade, whether if I liked it or not on that position. Um, Out of it, there's no reason to be able to stay in it. What is going on with this server? Okay, that is weird. But yeah, US yen, will probably have to take an exit on that one. There's no sense of being able to stay in that trade. Okay, so there we go. Hopefully that makes sense when it came down to that one. Now you're welcome. I got time for two more pairs. I'm gonna go very quick. I want to take a look and see what's happening with US 30. We'll take a look and see what's happening with NAS, and we'll kind of move forward. All right. So yesterday the trade that we ended up talking about that we ended up taking inside of our Discord group. We talked about it, but we ended up taking inside of our Discord group earlier yesterday was this movement right here. Market um, Market gave us a counter trend line break to be able to get into last night. My automation systems actually ended up taking that trade to the upside. What I ended up seeing right before the morning actually ended up hitting, or right before the 9:30 session, I'm sorry, 8:30 session, was that we ended up having a little bit of we ended up having a little bit of a bull flag right here at this particular point. And when that actually ended up happening, I was right in front of my computer to be able to trigger this trade. I sent this out to everybody inside of the Discord group last night. Yesterday I ended up giving a little bit of proof when it came down to that movement. I will do it again just to be able to make sure that everybody truly understands that this is kind of some of the messages that I end up sending. Um, we end up saying that US 30 is basically giving us a better opportunity to be able to get in based off of this bull flag from that counter trend line break. After we end up taking that trade, I end up saying that look at being able to get out of 30,440. 30,440 was basically the resistance that had to be broken to the upside on this overall pair based off of the consolidation that ended up happening from October 4th to October 7th. Once that ended up happening, the market ended up breaking out and pushing back up. And since then, the market has broken out again. Now, here's the problem. I don't think I don't think I had a pending order in on that area, and I did not. Okay, so there was a quick move that you could have got out of. There it is right there. Jeez. Jeez. I hate when I miss moves like that. Um, there was a small position that you could have made profit off of at 30,640, which was that movement right there. It was a very small area, but very small areas for US 30 are very large movements just in general. Market ended up popping up out of this area about 300 points overnight before being able to pop back to the downside. So that sucks, which it could have gotten to that trade. And the crazy part of it is, there it is right there. Ah, man. Did I take out that trade? That was the pending order that I ended up having back on the 7th. All right, whatever. Okay, that's fine. But at least we was on. Didn't take the trade though. Man, that sucks. That sucks. All right, so what's the move today? Right now, let's wait and kind of build to see what the consolidation is going to look like first. Um, we see that there's a natural resistance from that overall position. And we go into the hourly, we can see that right now we're in the precipice of being able to see that this market, once it ends up breaking past this high and breaking past that 30,800 area, the next area would be 31,326, 31,280 for that next position, which will end up being up here, or 31,130. I'm going to say 31,130 to be safe, but the top of the resistance, if it breaks inside of a consolidation area, it's going to end up breaking to the top of the resistance either. So 31,280 would be that next area for the next trade. Currently, right now, we're not ready to be able to take that trade yet. I want to see this market kind of build out on some consolidation first, possibly even pop back inside of that area, possibly end up popping back inside of that long-term consolidation area and kind of going from there. But we're starting to see the market starting to change a little bit for the type of trades that we can be able to see and getting in. We're not seeing a lot of built-in consolidation, kind of like what we end up seeing in the early summer months, like we always do. Currently, right now, I've been seeing a lot of counter trend line break type of trades to be able to get in. Counter trend line break right here, counter trend line break right there, since we end up having that breakout. So it might end up being that we are truly getting back into a trending type of mode, and because we are, you may end up seeing that you might just see those type of trades overall for us being able to get in. So please keep that in mind, and please keep your eye out for that. All right, last pair before we get out of here. Let's talk about NAS 100. NAS 100 ended up taking a trade on this one yesterday. Ended up getting in, and I think let's see, do I still have a position open off of this one? That is weird. Why is it not letting me? Whoa, what is that? Okay, sorry. Okay. No, we're officially out on NAS. So end up taking a trade at 10,855. We end up doing a quick scalp of 88 points up to 10,944. Market ended up breaking above these highs, basically end up breaking out of this area as well. So we do have a free run area that end up happening. But currently right now, we're basically back inside of that consolidation that ended up happening from September 22nd all the way until October 4th. I'm gonna stay and kind of hold off of this one as well. I want to see how the market's kind of gonna behave today, based off of everything that ended up happening yesterday. Anytime that you end up having a big move, typically you end up having a solid retracement, um, or basically just one of those ugly type of days to where there's not going to be much movement. Because of that, there's no reason to throw your money in and kind of be able to risk something when there's really nothing there. So I'm going to stay away and kind of see how the market kind of reacts before doing anything. Today was a very good. Yesterday was a very good day. I want to make sure that we end up continuing the overall pace of how we're trading overall when it comes down to maintaining our earnings. Now, before we end up getting out of here, I want to make sure I end up saying this. One, interested in being able to learn a little bit more about what we end up doing from our community standpoint and everything else like that. Obviously, we end up having a free portion of our Discord where we end up giving out useful chart pattern books, trader education, and indicators in certain situations when it comes down to that. But we do also have a premium area and being able to learn a little bit more about that. Or if you're interested in being able to learn a little bit more about that, you can be able to go to this link and be able to see how that can be able to help you out for your overall education inside of or education when it comes down to stocks, forex, indices, cryptocurrency, and everything else like that. We have something for everybody inside of that group. Our premium area ends up having over 150 books that you can be able to read from. So if there's anything that you want to be able to learn from trader mindset to different chart patterns or anything else like that, there's plenty of books to be able to go in there. We have premium indicators and premium forex expert advisors, and with the premium portion of it, my plan is to be able to get us to a point to where we can start being able to start trading together for us being able to prop trade. You're interested in being able to learn a little bit more about that. Obviously, you can be able to send me a private message about that. We are still I'm still at the point of waiting on the FX Skywalker EA, which is the EA that I'm looking at being able to use to be able to pass Surge Trader and ftmo and everything else like that, along with the FX Striker and everything else that we end up having. So if you're interested in being able to learn a little bit more about that, how to be able to get your hands on those EAs for a very low subscription fee, all you got to do is just send me a message or just join the Discord link and be able to get some more information from there. Thank you for everybody end up popping in, first time watchers and everything else like that. Always cool to be able to see y'all. And for the people that have been with us since really kind of seeing this thing kind of pop, we're getting very close to 800 people inside of the overall community. Uh, uh, could not be more proud than all of the work that y'all have been placing in and all of the communication and everything else that has been happening. Like always, plan your trade your plan. I see each and every one of y'all a little bit later on today. Hope everybody ends up having a good green day today. Take it easy.